Hello, my name's Ashton Cooper, and this will be my reflection for Module 5, or not Module 5, Module 15, and then I'm also going to show my little PowerPoint interactive game. But first, I'm going to answer some of the questions. So, what are your thoughts on gamification of education? Me personally, I truly do think the gamification you could say, like, quote unquote, is kind of like really important because not only does it make games fun or like learning fun, but it also like wants to really engage and lock in the student. Like the whole entire point of like making a lot of learning, like a lot of learning concepts and curriculums into a quick and easy, simple game, like a board game or an interactive slideshow or even a Kahoot. The whole purpose of that is so students can feel more engaged and want to learn because it's a fun game. It could be competitive or it could just be very like interactive and very entertaining. Like the whole purpose of it is to make it more connected to the student in some way. And I feel like that's super useful. I think that's extremely useful in the learning environment. I feel like these games can be used to teach students, and it's not just solely for entertainment. It's a little bit of both. Like you could argue it's both, but I do genuinely think at the end of the day, it does do more good to teach students than just solely for entertainment purposes. And some things I've seen in the classroom, I guess I can give one digital example and then one like physical example. A physical example, like as being a substitute teacher and para at a school, I've seen a little bit of like a lot of different like methods and ways people do things. One of the big things I see is a board game that does a lot of like this kind of like played like it's a board game played like Candyland, but instead of like cards that give you like colored spots to go to, it's like cards that you have to like read words and sound out the syllabus or not syllabus. I don't know why I said that. Sound out the syllables of the words, like do the claps and everything. And if you get it right, then you can move your piece there. So it's played like that, and it's kind of cool. Like a lot of the students seem to really like it and everything. The digital thing, I think it's called Look It. Look It. Let me double check. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, here it is. It's called Look It, and a lot of my students are like going crazy about it currently, especially the older ones. At the school I work at mostly, all the students have iPads, and that's like the game they want to play. It's like a Kahoot, but it's a lot more interactive and it has mini games. Like that's the best way I could explain it. Like you have questions, like Kahoots, like you have four little slots, one's correct, three are wrong, and and then once you get the question correct or wrong, your character you get to choose, like all those little animals, I think those are your characters, if I remember correctly, does something within the game. And there's like a bunch of different mini games. There's like one where it's like you run a cafe, and like the more questions you get right, the more food you can unlock to feed people, and then you get money. There's another one where it's like a hacker game where everyone has like cryptocurrencies. I'm not even joking. Like everyone has like cryptocurrency, like digital currencies, and like the more questions you get right, the more like hacks and codes you can get to get into someone else's digital wallet to steal their money, and like that's how you win. And there's like one fishing mini game where it's like you more you get correct, the bigger fish you can catch. It's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like as much as it's easy to kind of make fun of a lot of the gamification, quote unquote, of education, Blookit seems really nice to make a really interactive version of Kahoot, essentially. Like I think that could be the next big thing because I remember Kahoots storming high school and middle school for me when it became really big. But yeah, like I think those are some good classroom examples, and I think that is really good. I think those are really useful. But now onto my actual interactive game that I've created. I did in a Google Slides. I know it's just PowerPoint, but we'll ignore that. My math PowerPoint game. Let's see how many you get correct. So this is essentially what I made is a very, very simple like Kahoot, not gonna lie. So to kind of show you how it works. Like what's one plus one. This is all like first grade level math. It's all like subtraction and addition, and none of it gets higher than like 20. So there's exactly 20 different questions. It goes all the way down to 61 slides, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different choices, and each one is like a hyperlink. Let's see if I can actually do a slideshow to kind of show this. So yeah, you start it. So let's say you're working with your whole class, right? And you're like, alrighty, what do you think 1 plus 1 is, class? And if they say let's say they all raise their hand and say 2, correct. 1 plus 1 is 2. But let's say they all think it's 3. Wrong. And then it has circles to kind of show, like, a visual, like 1 plus 1 equals 2. And kind of organize it in a way where even if they get it correct, let's say some students get it wrong, you can go back by one click, and then you're able to kind of show them a visual. And then the correct one just takes you to the next question. But yeah, I've done 20 of these. I can kind of show you a quick view of it. And each one of these have hyperlinks. Each one of these have hyperlinks that will give you either take you to the wrong, which will show you the example, the circles to count, like a visual, or then the correct question. Like the correct, which is like the job, and you can go to the next one. But yeah, spent probably way too much time on this realistically, but I got it working, and I'm really happy about it. That's not lined up correctly. Or yes, it is. I'm just being weird. Anyway, but yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out, actually, at the end of the day. Yeah, no, there's so many of them. 60 of them. Yeah, and then thanks for playing, yeah. So yeah, kind of the whole idea of this is essentially a very simplified version of Kahoot. So, like, you have 4 different choices. Then you have your question, and then if you get it right, they'll tell you, good job. If you get it wrong, they'll show you a visual, at least so you can learn from it. And then even if everyone gets it correct, but some people got it wrong, you can easily just go back to show and explain. But kind of like the whole idea I made this for, the whole idea for this is, like, again, first grade level math. And the whole idea is where it's like you can have a whole group of your, like a whole classroom, a group of your students, and then let's say you have like no internet, or for whatever reason can't use Kahoot for like a math game. That lets the students kind of all work together. They can all have whiteboards even, and we can all like vote and raise our hands, and you can see how it goes. That's kind of like the whole idea of this. Very, very simple concept, but works. The whole process of making it, I think the only thing, like, it honestly was pretty, like, I looked up a Google, like a YouTube, like, how-to guide with Google Slides, and the only thing that kind of, like, really peeved me, let me see if I can make a new one real quick. Yeah, here we go. Is this. Like, for example, I would make a link, right? Like, I would make the numbers. Actually, just for, like, the sake of easiness, let's do this. And I would have, like, the word here, and then I would have, like, the selection choice here, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them in total. And then let's say this is the wrong answer, right? I'd link it. But the problem is, for whatever reason, it'd only show up like a couple of the slides. And even when you look them up, let's say I'm trying to get to 60 wrong. I look up wrong, and it only pops up like the first like 12, 9, 6, and 3. I realized what I had to do is lift it all the way up, link it, and then click show all slides in the presentation, and then I can link it to 60 wrong. And I'm not gonna lie, again, it's gonna make me sound like a big first world problem whiner, but doing this 20 times for each one of these, and you had to like do that every single time, it gets a little time consuming. Not the end of the world, but I don't know if like I'm just being like slow, like I'm not realizing like there's a really easy way to move that tab to link things, but nevertheless, I figured it out. That was really my only gripe with doing this. But overall, I'm really happy how it turned out. This was a really fun module. So yeah, That's all for my Module 15 video reflection. Thank you for watching.